Taurus, we're going to do your second house astrological reading really quick, and or all signs. Taurus, second house astrology is in regards to, I should say, Taurus rules over second house astrology: money, work, income, daily routines, values, material possessions, priorities, habits, your job, and work ethic. We've been talking a lot about in the readings how the planetary alignment is Uranus and Taurus until 2025. This is like a window of, Uranus is the planet of shock and awe, rebellion, and change. In the sector of Taurus, our money-making sector. So, all those attributes that I just listed off, all those key words that I just listed off, pardon as I try to fix this camera angle. Hope that phone doesn't fall, but I'm recording on my phone. So this is a window of, creative change, explosion, divine intervention, things of that nature. So very cool, very cool. I'm trying to think. I don't think Uranus rules any of the houses because it's a more modern planet, so it doesn't rule any of the houses. But in any event, we're gonna pull some energy for all these keywords that I just listed for the second house, for Taurus, and or anyone that comes across this video, all signs, because again, we all have a natal chart, and all natal charts have a second house. Just looking at the planetary alignments, the ruling planet of second house astrology, Venus, is in Virgo. Virgo is the sixth house, organizational skills, health patterns, systems, pets, actually are the sector of Virgo. Mutable earth sign, sense of service and service given is Virgo as well. So you're going to see kind of a beautification of those sectors in your life. Just thought I'd kind of touch on that since Venus is desire and relationships, rules over second house, so technically there's some sort of correlation and connection there. Virgo is similarly to the second house, having to do with, I believe, like organization, work habits. And again, there's kind of that cross influence because the second house, ruled by Taurus, is having to do with work as well. Keep in mind, Venus is the planet and Taurus is the astrological sign. So this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with planets, astrological signs, and houses. Typically, for instance, the second house is the house of Taurus, but it's ruled by the planet Venus. Okay. So let me see what else wants to come out here. I'm just trying to see if there's any other connections that I can make here. With the Venus and Virgo and Uranus and Taurus, it's kind of like trending. It's like trending yourself or like setting yourself up, building up to this kind of explosive and or maybe not just a peak moment, triggering moment or activation moment, but in the area of you doing something with your daily routine and habits. This is you kind of carving your own path. This makes me think of the Hierophant in reverse card, which is also a Taurus. I should say Venus is in Virgo at the time of this recording until August 15th, 2021, but still this will be a timeless video, meaning any kind of any messages or anything that you could apply, obviously feel free to apply it to you, no matter when you come across this video. Okay, so for money, let's see what wants to come out. Spirit of gratitude, joy, love, and light. Highest possible messages at this time. Let's see. Okay, we got kindness, compassion, understanding for money with the King of Wands in reverse. Eight of Cups in reverse for work. So if you feel stuck or trapped, Typically this is a fixed energy, a stuck energy, not leaving something that's previously established here. In the upright, someone's like, I had enough of this, I'm physically walking away. Keep in mind, there's variations on, am I in a toxic environment, or can I make this kind of inner change from the inside out? If there's, the difference between you running away from something versus, if you honestly believe that you can't bring some sort of internal peace and harmony, well, I mean, that would be a thought of, the person, our persona, meaning the ego that you're trying to bolster and uphold of how things should be versus how things are. The form of presence that I've been kind of referring to in my videos has it that when we buy into the false concept of self is when all the problems kind of arise, because that means that there's someone there to react to the mind and the feeling self. So in Buddhism, as such, they understand that this being, thinking and feeling can be viewed from this removed perspective where you aren't at the whim of the thinking and feeling self, but rather you observe it and you don't let the mind and the feeling dictate your day. That's why, Western culture is kind of a breeding ground for ignorance and small-mindedness, because essentially we're the universe. Since the beginning of time, everything's connected, and we have lineal ancestral connections to the beginning of the universe or all reality. That thing hasn't left us. We are connected to source and come from source. And so, that being said, we kind of limit ourselves to this current, personality, but that's truth is it's only there for practical purposes. We're all given a name, so we don't get lost in the world, literally or metaphorically, but the idea is that, presence is always here. The origins from which we come from never leave us. It's the bed in which all things are possible. So it's kind of tricky when you talk about, oh, don't be stuck, walk away, but in the same token, you don't want to be someone that's always walking away, when really, truly, you could remove that concept of self that might be causing the problems. Okay, so it might take a while for you to understand that lesson. I mean, that's what quote-unquote growing up is. That's what life maturing and experience is about. Realizing, oh, I have to start to, loosen up on a lot of, my ego, so to speak, my narrative of, and it's not our fault. We get caught up in it because we're indoctrinated from a young age. If you came up through, religion and all that stuff. And just social indoctrination as well, not even just, specifically religious based. In any event, kindness and compassion is always a good medicine for yourself, first and foremost, but then for the situation, those involved in the situation. The Eight of Cups in reverse points in regards to work to the Seven of Cups in the upright, which is options, weighing your options, okay? If this place no longer facilitates your growth, then you'll need to put yourself in a different environment. But I'll have you know that wherever you go, you're going to be bringing yourself. So better to work on the concept of self and slowly understanding how that works in and of itself. In the West, in modernized culture, we don't teach that. We condition fear and greed and want and desire. Those are lower vibratory energies. That's just what it is. To be in a state of want is to be in a state of lack. And then it's thrown off your divine timing, and now you're in your mind. But who's in the mind? The concept of self is only in the mind. You can only play in the mind and the feeling with the concept of self. Granted, you could feel something, but if you're removed, then you're just the witness. You witness it come and go. You don't have this long narrative, melodramatic story behind it. And then this is when you kind of allow space for things to fall in harmony as they may. Unbeknownst to us, for maybe the first leg of our lives, things are falling into place anyways. Um, just like things are being held up without us knowing. So that's for work. Let me see what wants to come out for income. Queen of Cups in the reverse. Something cold. Someone's turning cold to something. A lot of turning back imagery is coming out for income. It's always advised not to turn cold. People are gonna react how they react, but as far as your income, Queen of Cups is not being the emotional leader. Okay, so this could maybe manifest itself as somebody who is worrying about income in a positive way. Maybe you're turning cold to income. Maybe you're no longer giving it as much value. Maybe you're not, with Venus and Virgo. Excuse me, ironically enough, since Virgo is about organization, maybe you've kind of organized yourself to death. And maybe you're starting to turn cold to it to the extent that you're just letting the chips fall where they may. And you're allowing more beauty to grow in. The metaphor of Virgo is the garden and Venus is the flower. Then, Virgo could sometimes, if Virgo is the gardener, I should say, Virgo could be overly meticulous and organized and kind of stifle the beautification that is Venus. And Venus, again, is the sector of desire, relationships, money, things like that, work, love, obviously. And so maybe you're just like, well, yeah, fuck this Virgo energy. Been here, done that. And I mean that in a good way. I'm going to let, things come as they go. And I'm going to start flowing more, coming to and fro. Let's see, for daily routines, what wants to come out, Spirit? Hierophant in the upright. Okay, remember we talked about Hierophant in the reverse energy, carving your own path. Hierophant in the upright is sticking to the scaffolding, sticking to the structure, orthodoxy. This is a union card. Maybe pose some conflict to your free will or how you would want things. But when you kind of give into it and let go into it, I think you're freed up to go with the flow. It's like the river giving way to the river banks. You kind of just do your thing of being the river and go through it. It's interesting because not to make this about me, but my rising sign is Virgo, and my south node is Virgo, I should say, is the main point there. But the offset of the Virgo energy, the opposite of it, is the Pisces. So where Virgo could get too restricted and analytical and organized, the evening out of that is the Pisces energy, which is more go with the flow. And you kind of got to be present to go with the flow, all right? And it's almost as if like our ego, our persona, we start to think that we're running the show, but we're not, So that's like the river thinking that it decides where it goes. It's like, not really. I mean, the terrain, I believe, does that more so than anything, The river's just the river, so that's what you are. Let's see for values. Let's see what wants to come out, Spirit. Anything else? Two of Wands in the upright. Not really minding the future, or the future of your values, I would say. Not really in the line of planning and strategizing is what the energy is coming out here for. Material possessions. Again, we're just flipping tarot cards for the keywords that I see in this particular natal chart. I just randomly Googled it, and I thought I'd work with it. Material possessions. Let's see the energy that wants to come out for that. Okay, the Empress. So your material possessions are going to be looking great. Possibly even throughout this, Virgo season, again till the 15th of August, but even then some. You could even extend it to, Uranus and Taurus, and or timelessly, depending on where you're at. Where you're at on the journey. But for the Empress to come out, the Empress is Taurus and Libra. This is Venus energy, divine feminine embodiment here. She's at her power, she rules, she's all things femininity. And it's kind of funny because we talked about the river here, and the river in the background is flowing here. Okay, it's doing its natural thing, going at its natural pace. And so it's almost as if, like, granted, material possessions, they're there, in a superficial way. We give value to it and all that stuff, but, not a bad card. I mean, a great card to come out for, the Empress. Material possessions are going to be looking good, but it's not the end-all, be-all, is I guess, what I'm communicating. Priorities. Eight of Swords in the reverse, so maybe being freed up from your priorities, not letting them stifle you. For habits, you got completions of a cycle here, so maybe leaving bad habits for better habits, bad habits for good habits. This is Aquarius energy. This is winter season energy, New Year energy. Okay. Let's see. She's in her New Year's suit. Let's see. Okay, let's go for job and work ethic. Job and work ethic. Let's pull two. Okay, coming out of a publicly recognized celebration or position here with the Four of Wands in the reverse. And then work ethic is like haste. This is actually excitement, epiphany. Okay, something of that nature. So yeah, I mean, for the job, fours are about stability. So to be coming out of something, it could be, you're coming out of something that was stable. Obviously, this is like a general reading, so it's not going to be specifically tailored to you. If you want something tailored to you, reach out for a one-on-one reading. But in general, the job. Okay, well, Four of Wands is a marriage card. It's a public celebration. It's graduation, baptism, sweet 16, celebratory ceremonies and events. So this could be after the fact. So maybe you just started a job and now you're really settling into it. But if you're coming out of some sort of like stability, it could be leaving a job as well. The Knight of Swords is moving away from the Four of Wands in the reverse. It's hard to say. I mean, if you want to literally try to translate it, it's like the frequent recurrence of celebration. Maybe you just have a really busy job. I mean, you could be a party planner or something like that, or planning events for whoever that resonates for. But Four in reverse is typically coming out of something stable. And maybe it's known, maybe it's publicly known, like on your LinkedIn profile, that I'm on the market. So that's what that could be as well. Knight of Swords is rushing away, epiphany. So, but it's a work ethic. It could be read as the state in which this is occurring, meaning you're leaving this in a huff, you're excited to, but specifically remember, this is about work ethic. So, as far as an ethic, there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of rushing forward energy. There's a lot of eagerness here, which is good. It's good, but then, you'd have to ask, how sustainable is that? Okay? And then obviously maybe on the negative side of the ethic, make sure that your ethic isn't based on haste to the point of, losing accuracy, so to speak, is what I would interpret that message as. But that's enough of me rambling. Taurus, second house astrology, just a little fun reading. I'm going through all the signs and all the houses for all the signs. Just another, content form of content to put up on the channel. But if you enjoy this, like, share, follow, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what other content you might want to see on the channel. I appreciate your viewership and your subscription. If you want a one-on-one reading, it's only $2 a minute. They're available over video, phone, email, text, social media, messenger, whatever you feel most comfortable with. I'm truly grateful, and I thank you guys for your support. Love and light to you, and on to record the next reading, which is probably going to be a Gemini love and money reading. So look out for that. Look out for the dailies as well on Instagram and TikTok. Again, website link below has all my social media and contact information. Reach out to your boy. Peace, love, and light to you.